Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So many new faces. My name is Govinda Das. I live in Bharat Bhumi. Not exactly. I live in Śrīla, Mayapur, which is way above India. It's the holy dham. Any new people here tonight? You know, many new people. Okay. So should we continue from we left off yesterday, or speak a little introduction about the holy name? Or Sharanagati? Wasn't Sharanagati? It was a different book. What? Yeah. Well, anyway, I was reading from this book, Sammodana Bhāṣyam, and yesterday we were reading. This is a commentary by Śrīla Ṭhākura, one of our very prominent and recent acharyas, and he wrote many books on the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, commentaries on the different acharyas' writings. And this is a very small book, and this is commentaries of Srila Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Śikṣāṣṭakam. And yesterday we talked about the anartha nivritti stage, when you come to Krishna consciousness by some association in the beginning. Śraddhā, this is called śraddhā. Somehow you develop some kind of faith, not even faith, some kind of, interest. You see the hari-nāma party, you talk to one of your colleagues in your workplace, and he tells you about Krishna consciousness. He gives you a little prasadam. It enters your heart, it enters your mouth, but it enters your heart also, and your mind. So you develop some kind of interest. Oh, this is something worth take a look into. And then next, when you look into it, and you develop some liking due to the association of the devotees. We had nice kirtan now because everybody's chanting together, and you feel the energy, positive, uplifting energy. I mean, what is it today? Wednesday? Did you forget your office? I hope you forgot your office day. Yeah? You didn't? We'll chant more, okay? But that's the goal. That is the goal, that we should at least temporarily take us out of material consciousness and bring us to spiritual consciousness, even though it's a neophyte stage of Krishna consciousness or spiritual consciousness. It's not the higher stages, very low stages, but still you feel some kind of bliss. And so that's sadhu sangha, and then you become more and more serious about making further progress, and you Krishna is in your heart as super soul, Paramatma. And when he sees, because he knows all your thoughts, and he sees that, oh, he's sincere and he's ready for further training, for further surrender, further instructions, he wants to come closer to me, sincerely, then he will manifest externally as the spiritual master. The spiritual master is a representation of antaryami, the external manifestation of the super soul, Krishna. And ye atamam prapadyante tam statami bhajami aham, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly, Krishna says. As sincere you are, that's the kind of guru you will get. There are also different grades of gurus. If you're very sincere, you get a very nice spiritual master, like Srila Prabhupada. But you can still make offenses, act on your material desires, and drift away from Krishna consciousness. Anyway, that's not the point we talk about. Well, it is. But in this section here, the spiritual master will instruct the disciple how to execute devotional service. Some devotees just got initiated. Rasa Parayana Prabhu just got initiated formally. But real initiation starts when you make up your mind and the spiritual master, he accepts you in his heart as his disciple. The initiation ritual is just a formal ceremony. And then there's a big fire there and the deities and lots of witnesses. Okay, they all know, oh, he took initiation, what is he doing? So you have to take it seriously. But these are external things. But the real initiation is internal. And that's bhajana kriya, when the spiritual master instructs the disciple how to execute devotional service according to the rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti. And luckily, or hopefully, in Raganuga Bhakti also, spontaneous devotion. If you read Bhagavad Gita, what is the most famous verse in Bhagavad Gita? Who knows? Everybody knows. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam bhavavidya. So surrender unto me and give up, abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions, do not fear. And as we know, in Kali Yuga, how do we find Krishna in Kali Yuga? Because he left, right? 5,000 years ago. Where is Krishna? How can we be with Krishna?
His name.
Holy name. Kali Nāma-rūpa Krishna avatar. In Kali Yuga, Krishna is present through his holy name. Nam-rūpa. And so if you put two and two together, he says, surrender unto me, sarva dharma, give up everything else, exclusively surrender unto me. Mam ekam, exclusively unto me. Then you understand surrendering to Kali Yuga, Krishna in Kali Yuga means surrendering to the holy name. Because in Kali Yuga Krishna is present through the holy name. So this is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. But before that, Krishna says, Manmana, just 65, 8 and 65. Manmana mad bhakto matyaji mam namaskuru. How is the rest one? Who knows? No. That's one. There's two verses in the Gita starts with the first two lines. Manmana mad bhakto matyaji mam namaskuru. Mama vevasya satyam te. Yeah. That's it. Pratijani piriyosi me. Manmana bhavamad bhakti. Always think of me with love and affection. That's the point. Worship me. Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, what is it? Tesham satatam yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Priti means love and affection. Worship me with love and affection. And this Manmana Mad Bhakto 1865, Srila Prabhupada explains that Krishna instructed Arjuna that you do this, you worship me with love. Can you guys settle down, please?
He just wants a fish.
Huh?
He was just going to get a fish.
Sorry. So he says, Manmana Mad Bhakto Matyaj Mam Namaskuru. Now I'm thinking the end of the verse. And then you will come to me without fail. If you worship me with love. Also, priti. So this is like, Prabhupada says, this is what Krishna wants from you. He specifically, when he says me, Prabhupada explains to Krishna, in his two-armed form as Shyam Sundar, who's playing the flute. And Arjuna was his very dear friend. So our Krishna wants you to be a dear friend. And that is only available in Braj or Vrindavan. Of course, we know Mathura and Dwarka, the intimate Braja Bhakti is not fully available, but it's in a mixed form. Swakya Ras in Dwarka, you can have Krishna as your husband. In Vrindavan, you cannot have Krishna as your husband. Only secretly. The girls have a secret love for Krishna. They cannot display their love for Krishna. And it's very, even more exciting. They have to transgress all the religious principles and run to Krishna at the dead of night when he plays his flute. Because they have a secret love for him, but they get exposed anyway, because they get busted, because they leave their mothers-in-law and fathers-in-law and their babies and everything to see Krishna at the dead of night. So Krishna says specifically, so that's what I'm saying, just coming back to this point, spiritual master will instruct you this. And Srila Prabhupada is instructing us. So you can read Bhagavad Gita, and the way you read Bhagavad Gita, you will get a different conclusion. What do they say about the Bible? We both read the same book, but you read black and I read white, something like that. It's like a quote. I don't know the exact quote. So we can read the same book and get different results out of it. Now, so we talked about anartha nivritti yesterday. When you perform bhajan kriya, or the spiritual master instruct you to perform devotional service, and then you realize that it's very difficult sometimes. Taranga Rangini Vishnu Chakrati Ṭhākura explains, sometimes very enthusiastic, sometimes very morose. And he gives an explanation that when I hear spiritual topics, I lose all interest, and I look at the floor, my phone, and comfortably fall asleep during class. When I hear some material subjects and gossip and politics, my eyes, wide open and become very alert and attentive and focused like a laser. And sometimes you become, very enthusiastic. In the beginning, he says, new Brahmana boy who just learned about devotional service and learned his new mantras. He becomes very enthusiastic and overzealous and instructs everybody, you're in Maya, Prabhu. You don't have tilak today, you're in Maya. And he thinks very high of himself because he learned the ABC, but there's quantum physics, and postgraduate studies that he is not aware of. But he already thinks he learned everything, he mastered everything. And then sometimes he speculates, very chanchala, mine is very chanchala, Vishnu Chakravarti explains. Should I get married? Because that is a safe path, in Krishna consciousness, in Kali Yuga. Yesterday we talked about, in Kali Yuga, sannyas is forbidden. Or maybe I should become a sannyasi or a renunciate, because married life is very dangerous. Householders fall down, they get covered over by the material energy because they close association with money, woman, material object, etc., etc. But at the same time, householder life, it is the safe path. Because if you prematurely renounce everything, while in your heart you have material desires, then you're a cheater, a pretender. But again, it is better to be a pretender than a fallen grihasta. And so anyway, he just goes up and down and back and forth, and he cannot make up his mind. Anyway, so these are some of the anarthas. Then he says weakness of heart. He decides, today I'm going to chant 64 rounds. And he chants 64 rounds. And then he says, from now on I'm going to chant every day 64 rounds. And then, it doesn't work out because he doesn't have the adhikar, the necessary enthusiasm or taste, qualification, adhikar. Then he comes down, and then, after a couple of weeks, again becomes very... So he makes vows, we cannot fulfill those vows. These are the different anarthas. Weakness of heart, unable to control the mind, unable to control the senses. And then, so when you chant in this stage, it is called nam-abhas, chanting. Abhas means, the actual word means a shadow, or a semblance, resemblance, you say. Oh, it looks like you, but it's not you. So, just like my shadow reflection, you see my big nose and my big face, but it's not me, it's just the shadow of my face, of my form. Okay? We cannot say this is you, but in the same time, it's related to you somehow, even though it's not you. So when we chant in this stage, this is called abhas nam or abhas bhakta. And this is particularly indicated for the anartha nivritti stage. So this is what we talked about yesterday a little bit. So just to, you're up to speed now. And what did the Ṭhākura say yesterday? You remember? What did he recommend? Which verse of the Śikṣāṣṭakam talked about? Trinadapi sunechena. So one should chant the holy name in a humble state of mind, feeling lower than the grass, and one should be more tolerant than a tree, ready to offer respect to everyone, to all, and not expect any respect in return. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name constantly. So that's the recommendation. You're struggling with these things, anarthas, become very humble, because Krishna sees that you're humble. He'll give you the necessary adhikar. He's impressed by that. What do they say in the Bible? The meek shall inherit the earth. And offer respect to others, don't expect anything in return. Show your other cheek, right? Somebody slaps you, what do you do? You knock the hell out of him. No. You knock the light out of him. So you show that a cheek. I mean, we're not pacifists, okay? But you get the idea. We don't go out of our way and demand that people have to respect us. In fact, Śrīla Prabhupada said, do not demand respect, but you should command respect. By your stature, the merit of your character and actions, people will naturally respect you. I remember in Vrindavan, one resident sannyasi gave a whole class about, you have to pay obeisances to the sannyasis. And and he was just like, what? I better go find myself a sannyasi, He's like, pay obeisances. My life is wasted. So you shouldn't demand people respect you. People respect you is very dangerous anyway. I don't want people to respect me. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura says, those who point at your faults, they are your friends. And those who praise you, they are enemies. It's not good for you. They're filling poison in your ears. You're saying, so good, so great. But of course, you're a little advanced and a little, aware of the reality of who you are. Then you will not take it for granted. And we talked about yesterday how you have to tolerate happiness and distress both, praise and criticism equally. Somebody criticizes you, blasphemes you, you tolerate it. And then somebody praises you, glorifies you, you tolerate it. You see? So these four things. Then next verse is, who knows? Na dhanaṁ, na janaṁ, na sundarīṁ, kavitāṁ, ahaitukī, tvayi. Where are we? O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to enjoy beautiful knowledge. Interesting, huh? He doesn't say beautiful woman. He translates it beautiful knowledge. Nor do I want any number of followers. What I want only is the causeless mercy of your devotional service in my life, birth after birth. Mama janmani janmanīśvare. You are my Lord, birth after birth. First, those with faith hear the name from the mouth of a guru. Then, without offense, they chant the name. Then they act with the four characteristics mentioned in the previous verse. Right? Trinarapi sunechana. You chant like this, thinking very low, feeling very humble and tolerant. You chant the name in that state of mind. But bhakti in the form of bhava will not manifest. Even though you're very humble. This is not the end of your devotional career. It will not manifest without manifesting the pure swarup of bhakti. Hey. As it so, without manifesting the pure swarup of bhakti. Swarup means the pure form. Like we have our spiritual form in the spiritual world. Okay? Swarup. So also bhakti has a swarup. That means śraddhā. Okay? Not abhas. So abhasnam will not turn into śraddhā if, as the essential function of hlādinī, hlādinī is the pleasure potency of Krishna, Srimati Radharani. He says the essential function when we attain our bhakti, our devotion comes under the service of Srimati Radharani, in other words. So devoid of relationship directly or indirectly with material bliss. So if you still have some connection to material bliss, directly or indirectly. Sometimes you go to Kirtan, oh, that was a good Kirtan, I enjoyed so much. But you forget Kirtan is not for your enjoyment. It is for Krishna's enjoyment. Whether I enjoy Kirtan or not, it doesn't matter. You see? That is the point. You have to have that service attitude. 100%, 100% service attitude. What I get out of this it doesn't matter. That's not the point. We seek the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Considering this in two verses, the pure swarup bhakti, pure swarup of bhakti, is made clear by listing the qualities that should be absent in sādhana-bhakti or chanting the name. So these are the qualities that Mahaprabhu is listing. Na dhanaṁ, na janaṁ, na sundarīṁ. If cultivation of Krishna favorably, devoid of other desires which oppose bhakti. So if we favorably practice Krishna consciousness, that means our service is pleasing to Krishna, the activities are pleasing to Krishna, favorable, and is devoid of other desires which oppose bhakti, and not covered by karma and jnana. So these are not there, then bhakti, and so these are there, these things are there. Then bhakti will only be bhaktya abhas. Just a semblance, a shadow reflection of the real thing, but not the real thing. So, but you go further and you uproot. How do you uproot? Of course, you can try it on your own, but it will be. You see, the roots are very deep and very strong, like a banyan tree. And on your own strength, it will be not possible. But by continuous bhajan and chanting, you can uproot these things. Bhajan will uproot them. With a desire to avoid bhakti abhas, Mahaprabhu teaches pure bhakti by listing absence of certain qualities, these qualities. He says, O Lord of the universe, I do not desire wealth. Who desires wealth here in the room? You don't have to raise your hand, I know, everybody. Followers, do you want people to love you and respect you? Be honest. Or material knowledge. Dhanaṁ refers to all types of wealth which give material happiness in this and the next world. The wealth of dharma fixed in varnashram, which give bliss to senses in the subtle and gross body. So varnashram dharma, I'm a member of ISKCON, and even I'm a manager, I'm a vice president or temple president. And I take 3 baths a day, but these karmis are they're stinky and dirty, and even the Indians, they eat onion and garlic, they smell bad, but I'm a pure Brahmin. Okay? And then you think this is it. You got your position, your title, and your little prestige and ego. And you get stuck there in this varnashram system, life after life, because you think this is perfection. This is how far it gets you. You're completely in material consciousness. So this includes a wealth of kama, sexual pleasures as well. Sundarīṁ kavitāṁ refers to ordinary knowledge, not the knowledge of kirtan, of nature of the Lord's pastimes, according to tanmatir. Actual knowledge is knowing the Lord. Also, I would add my 2 cents worth. When you become a little scholarly for the sake of getting dhanaṁ and janaṁ and sundarīṁ, and you can give a very nice class, and you can quote the different acharyas, and the slokas are just coming out of your mouth like ananta shesh, unending. And you can cross-reference between Jiva Goswami Sandarbhas and Valadev Vidyabhusan's Govinda Bhāṣyam, and etc., etc. And everybody goes, ooh, and ah. And then you're, sundarīṁ. You got again the followers, because you know so much, you're a great devotee. But if it's just book knowledge, it's worthless. If not, it's not, you don't walk the talk, so to say. But just repeat what is in there for the ulterior motive of getting some respect out of the Vaishnava community. Again, you missed the point. And this is also material consciousness. I do not request any of this, but birth after birth, I request causeless bhakti to Krishna, the Lord of my life. One time I asked Govinda Prabhu, what does it mean when a girl looks in your eye and says, I love you? So he said something non-veg. I'm not going to repeat that. But the second part he said, he says, you don't know, real love means chakudan dilojay jamme jamme, Prabhu say. That life after life, Gurudev, you're my master. No matter where you go, I will go and serve you. Srila Prabhupada was in Moscow. He went to Russia once, initiated one person. So ISKCON now, most devotees are Russian, after Indians. There's a lot of Russian devotees. And so Prabhupada, his servant, went out to find some vegetables and rice. And this is the capital of Russia, Moscow. This is the communist time, of course. It's not like that anymore. It's very opulent and rich now, very wealthy. But he couldn't find any rice, couldn't find any vegetables. The stores are empty. People were depressed. There was only one store open, had something, and there's a huge line in the street. And that the shop was selling meat. Demoniac place. And he was only able to get a little kartoshka, potatoes. Haribo, what did you do? Hare Krishna. Haribo, we got it. He was only able to get little potatoes. And he came back, he was very sorry, Srila Prabhupada, this is the only thing I could find here. And Prabhupada says, well, this is a hellish place, but since we are preaching, for Krishna, this is okay. He says, then he said, it is more blissful to preach in hell than being in India in the mango season. You go to hell, you go to heaven and enjoy, the highest standards, but you're bereft of Krishna, it's hell. And you go to hell and Krishna is with you, then you're in the spiritual world. So he says, birth after birth. I request causeless bhakti to Krishna, the Lord of my life. Doesn't matter what will happen to me, I just want pure devotion. That is a real benefit I want. It is also called kevala, akinchana, or amishra bhakti. Destruction of material pains of birth and death is dependent on Krishna's desire and beyond the endeavors of the jiva. One should not pray for this destruction. Thus the verse is, birth after birth I will remain in samsara. Except a pure devotee accepts the fact, I will be in the cycle of birth and birth, life after life, birth after birth. When, he's thinking, when by Krishna's desire, birth and death are destroyed, suffering will automatically end. What is the use of praying for this, since it is contrary to the method? Krishna already knows he wants one from you. And when he decides, he'll take me back home, back to it. And while you're in full Krishna consciousness, in akinchana or kevala bhakti, Śrī Guru charana padma, kevala bhakti, like that. We are already in the spiritual world. It's just a matter of consciousness. And then he goes, what is the swarup of the sadhaka? Ayinanda tanuja kinkaram patitam ma vishame bhavam budho kripaya tava pada pankaja stita dhuli sudarsam vichintaya. My dear Lord, I am your eternal servant, but somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of this material world. Kindly think of me as a speck of dust at your lotus feet. Not praying for liberation, but praying to be always as a humble servant as Krishna's lotus feet, with full service attitude, ready to do anything, ready to go anywhere as required. Srila Prabhupada sent devotees to China. None do you go to China tomorrow. Open a center. Srila Prabhupada had that power. And the potency to carry out that instruction was in the order. He accepted it with full faith, and everything just lined up and happened. You were just an instrument, you know. And you can be only an instrument if you have full faith in the instruction of the spiritual master. My spiritual master sent me to China, so and I didn't know what's going to wait for me there. And I went there alone. And of course, Chinese devotees were already there, so it was easy. They picked me up at the airport, and Chinese devotees are very sweet. Teacher. They call me teacher. They have very wonderful prasadam, very interesting prasadam also. Sometimes I didn't know what I'm eating. But it was very nice. And China is a communist country, but this was not a communist country. Maybe it was a dictatorial country. Police state, okay, but it was, they like money. And the devotees are mostly ladies there. So this room would be like maybe 3 or 4 men, everybody else ladies. Very strange, kind of. And I asked the ladies, where are the men? And they said, the men have to make money. Anyway, so if you want to come or taste the real thing, being humble is not enough. But you have to give up these desires that are within your heart. Nobody can see. You're very good at pretending to be a pure devotee. False humility. You know the story when one devotee went to Śrīla Prabhupada, oh Prabhupada, I am the most fallen of all of your disciples. Prabhupada was annoyed and looked at him, you're not the most anything. By saying, I'm the most humble, means, oh, he's so advanced, oh my God, he's the most advanced. That's he's trying to force some praise out of him. Oh, wow. No, he said, not the most anything. False humility. And within your heart, externally, you're pretending and very good at acting. But internally, you want name, fame, followers, and sundarīṁ, material knowledge, or woman, or man, lust. That's why you actually, maybe in a Vaishnava society, but your ulterior motive is to get these things. And when they come at you, you're acting like, oh, no. But internally you're saying, oh, yes. So you have to do on your own. And the only reason why not you wouldn't give up these things is ignorance again. So how do we destroy ignorance? By chanting Hare Krishna. This is the fire that burns everything. The holy name will burn everything. So it's usually the youth in the front and all the grown-up folks in the back, sitting on a sofa bed, and it's a spectator sport, watching the kirtan. But if you want to burn things up, you have to come close to the fire. You know? If you don't get close to the fire, you'll be cold or lukewarm at best. Of course, maybe you're the hottest, you know. Your fire, the greed in your heart maybe burns very brightly. But I'm saying this one of the experience I have. You know? Oh, kirtan is for the children. Let's send the children there. They like to play mridanga. Actually, you don't understand. Kirtan is the yuga dharma. It's not japa. Yuga dharma is hari-nāma, kirtan, sama, congregational kirtan. We chant 64 rounds, and it's so essential. We did, japa. And we chant 16 rounds every day. Yes, It's so essential. But if you're honest with yourself, you get more enthusiastic when you do Sankirtan. And both have their places. So if you don't chant 16 rounds, you're not surrendered, then your kirtan will have no, how do you say, potency, no shakti. But when you perform a lot of kirtan, you're supposed to chant japa also. And some of the youth, they don't chant japa. They like kirtan, but so that means they're not even the house platform of, trying to give up these material desires. It's simply socializing, simply a musical, experience, and they're missing the point, But still, it will have effect. It may take some time, so we have to be very patient. Give him some space, some time. But sometimes grab the ear, and pick up your beat back, Anyway, Hare Krishna. Anybody has any question or comments? Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, first of all, very energetic kirtan, and then thereafter very good lecture.
Thank you.
Very good lecture on hari-nāma. And actually you covered this topic, but I still want to know a little bit more about the difference between a japa and a kirtan. Like you really, give a gist of it,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't do the japa, the kirtan may not have that.
They're interrelated, you see.
They're interrelated.
I can quote some things that Govinda Prabhu, who's one of my mentors, main mentor. Excuse me, I have some problem here. So he used to say that japa is a very meager attempt for us because we are so fallen. But kirtan has so much power. You can break one stick very easily, but a bunch of sticks, it'll be difficult. So when you collectively chant together, we associate with the other Vaishnavas and we are stronger, naturally stronger, and we take advantage of each other's devotion, which will strengthen my devotion, will strengthen yours, and yours will strengthen mine, and collectively we produce something much better than individually. And so japa is an individual, like an intimate thing. It's you with Krishna. This is your time with Krishna. But japa is a collective, and Govinda Prabhu would say that kirtan is like the Maharas Lila. The Rasa Lila, when you say Rasa Lila, and there is Maharas Lila. The Rasa Lila is Srimati Radharani and her followers, the Astasakis, and their camps and manjaris, etc. They all take part, but it's all under the jute of or camp of Srimati Radhika. And then you have the Maharas, and you have the rivals of Srimati Radharani like Chandravali, Shaibya, Padma, etc. And they have their own followers, trillions and billions and unlimited. And that's the Maharas Lila, the big chakra. And Krishna is dancing with everyone at the same time, and everybody thinks, oh, Krishna is only dancing with me. And was going for how long? One day of Brahma, which is for one kalpa, right? What is it? 1,000 chatur yugas. It's some, I don't know the exact, but it was some incredible number. And it seemed like, oh, wow, it's finished. What happened? Why is it so short? When in the office, you look at the clock and, oh my God, it's all at 4 o'clock. It's 5 minutes past. Time is very slow. Torture. But there, time was just like enjoying, very fast. So he said, that's the Maharaj, and when you perform japa, he says, this is Nikunj Lila. He's serving Krishna intimately. Another thing he said, that japa, and Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura says, is 100 times more potent, Sankirtan. Okay? And he said, Ayana Prabhu said that we are conditioned souls and we disease condition. We are sick. Can you move a little bit because I can see? And he says, when you're severely sick, like I had an accident, they wanted to take me to the hospital or something. I said no. But when you have a heart attack, they have to take you to the intensive care unit. And what do they do first thing? They put you in a stretcher and give you IV. So he said, Kirtan, you're getting the injection, the IV immediately. The most potent direct shot, which will revive you.
Give you shake up.
Yeah, it just revives your organs, bring you back to life, everything, and because you're under attack. Yeah. The disease is so severe, and the seizure is so severe. So Kirtan is like that. So japa works. It's, let's say you take the pills, it takes time. These probiotics, right? You have to get up to whatever 50 or whatever 100, and then it will take effect. But it doesn't mean the japa doesn't have the potency to take you back home, back together within 1 second. But can we chant like that with that intensity? That's the point. But there's a more chance in kirtan too. Kirtan, all our senses are engaged, and kirtan is loud. It's supposed to be loud. Doesn't mean that the mridangas are too loud or the wampers are smashed. But it's the holy name. The chanting should have a power. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati recommends, Srila Prabhupada recommends, all our acharyas recommend loud kirtan. Not just in terms of volume, but enthusiasm, and give your best, your level best, and that it will have more effect. If it's just a laid back, casual, or some Hindustani, just enjoying music, some raga, and then I know so many ragas, but that's not the point. It's not the point. Devotion is the point. We use everything for devotion. So that's my take on kirtan and japa. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You just touched on the raga. That was my question. So, is there a difference in spiritual potency between European, Russian style kirtan, or Western style kirtan, and kirtan that you perform today, or in Vrindavan? Is there a spiritual difference? I don't understand, because it's an external form.
I get your question.
Yes, thank you.
So there was this Prabhu here playing guitar. For us Westerners, when we see a guitar, we think of rock and roll. Okay, and as he was playing the power chords, and I was like, no, it is like Black Sabbath, or what is it? And for us, that's not favorable. And I see many devotees, they play guitar. It's for Yukta Vairagya, Prabhu. It's for preaching, Prabhu. No, it's not for preaching. You're attached to rock and roll. That's what it is. And why, like Srila Prabhupada explained, we play mirdanga, kartal, and uludhani. The ladies, only ladies. For men, it's inauspicious. Okay? And clap your hand. Lord Chaitanya say, clap your hands, play kartals and mirdanga, and that's how you need. And in the spiritual world, we see they have also have mridangam, they have veena, they have swarmandal, and they have different instruments, but there's no electric guitar. So, maybe we go to a place where it's super attached, and I cannot hear the hari-nāma any other way but with an electric guitar, then we use it. We can, the exception overrides the rule. But the point is that I'm trying to say that if we want to go back to the spiritual world, we want to train ourselves. What does Krishna like, right? We offer Krishna burfi, rajbhog, chapatis and kachoris and paneer sabji. There's different preparation Krishna likes. And so we want to give whatever Krishna likes. Now, there's another aspect to this question. I don't know what Russian kirtan is like, but I see the Russian devotees are very enthusiastic to chant. Maybe the accordion and all these things. But they're chanting anyway, but gradually they should, use the instruments, so to say, which Lord Chaitanya wanted. Radha and Krishna's leelas are available, And then another point is that, let's say, chant some ragas, and you chant some Russian movie song, melody. Don't worry about it. Just calm down, everybody. It's all good. So you chant two different things. If you do not chant dhanaṁ, then what's the difference? Whether you play a nice raga or you sing a Russian tune, there's no difference. But when you chant dhanaṁ, what is the difference? There's no difference whether you chant a Russian song in a melody, or you chant a rag asavari or something. You see, it's not the external execution, but the substance, which is pure nāma, śraddhā. That is the essential thing. But again, you have to consider this point that in the spiritual world, there's no drum sets and electric guitars and.
I was more curious about the form of tune, not the instruments, but first, I'm not expert in this, so I don't know exactly, but the way you chant is different. If I chant or my even the spiritual senior devotees from Russia chant, they chant different, they chant C minor, C major, not three chords. Chords, right.
I don't like chords.
So hari. So it's the same mantra, but it seems like the way you chant is more like this,
Yeah.
Different flavor.
I'll tell you, Govinda Prabhu said that Śrīla Prabhupada instructed that first of all, harmonium wasn't accepted by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, but sometimes it was allowed, and Prabhupada liked to play harmonium, and he said if you play harmonium, it should not be played during arati. During arati you have to stand up and play mridanga and kartals. But if you play a bhajan or Hare Krishna mantra on the harmonium, it should be played melodiously, according to Prabhupada. So melodiously means single notes, not like these chords. Because the chords, you see, there's in one octave, there are 12 notes. And each melody maybe uses 4, 5, 6, 7 notes in one octave, okay? What's funny? And therefore, when you play the chords, maybe there's a note that doesn't belong to the melody. There's 5 notes, okay? But you play these chords, and there's a foreign note there. Not supposed to, so that's ras abhas, and it's tamasic. It's destroying. That's another point why it's not supposed to be there. And so Prabhupada said melodiously, single keys. And this, it sounds kind of sentimental. The accordion, it sounds like, like a circus clown, Bozo comes out. Bozo the clown. Or a Marseille, French Marseillaise pub, they play. So all these things that, that more, the culture is given, and Srila Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness will take over the world throughout a cultural revolution. So the cultural aspects are description are given, okay? We don't follow Indian culture. Some people say, oh, this is Indian culture. It's not Indian culture. This is a spiritual culture. We're not interested in Indian or Russian or American or Chinese culture. We want the spiritual culture. Jambes. I'm going to Mauritius in the beginning of September. They had to announce that Prabhuji is coming. He doesn't like djembe, so they said they had the Rath Yatra there. They had 12 djembes and 1 mridanga, and they said this is very sad, And they go ding ding boom 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 ding boom boom. The djembe is very very low and deep. It's a tamasic instrument. It opens lower chakras, lust. Mridanga is sweet. It's a sweet instrument. Very sweet sound. Mridangaya Brahma Rupaya Lavannam Rasa Madhuri Sahasra Gunam Sanjuktam Mridangaya Namo Namaha. Mridangaya Brahma Rupaya. There's a spiritual form. So don't lean over the Mridanga. We respect the Mridanga. Brahma Rupaya don't laugh on him. Brahma Rupaya has a spiritual form. Sahasra Gunam Samjuktam. It has thousands of good qualities, endowed with thousands of different sounds and qualities. Lavannam Rasa Madhuri produces very sweet rasa, mellow sound. Mridangaya Namo Namaha. In West Bengal, the culture is that they cover the mridanga with new cloth, not some used gamsha. Like it's a deity, they say the small head is Nitai, the big head is Gadadhar, and the body is Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu. So they cover it, they close it, and then mridanga is sleeping. They don't play. So when the kirtan comes, they open the cloth, they perform arati, they put chandan, flower, and they pay obeisances, and then they play. 32 straps. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Like that. 32 syllables. So Mahaprabhu instructed Advaita Acharya and Srinivas make the mridanga call. In the spiritual world, there is mridangam, wooden mridanga. The gopis play this wooden mridanga. Of course, there is a chamber where Lord Chaitanya and his followers are there in Goloka Vrindavan. You can be there as a 12-year-old Brahmana boy and engage in Mahaprabhu's entourage in Kirtana, And they have Shikol. So this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not just, we chant and it is good for spiritual life. No, this will be also in the spiritual world. You will chant Hare Krishna and play mridanga in the spiritual world. This is the means and this is the end. By this you will get there. So famous, and Prabhupada said, what is the result of chanting Hare Krishna? What is the result of chanting Hare Krishna? You know it, right? More chanting. That will be the result. If you think it's going to be a good husband or a good wife, or exams will come out very nice, and you get money and big house and big car, new latest Tesla, then that's not the point. Anything else?
I was just trying to connect to Srila Prabhupada giving the name for the first printing press as Brihad-mridanga.
Uh-huh.
Such a nice name, and generally the name for devotees, Brihad-mridanga, transcendental book distribution ki jai, we say
Mm-hmm.
Brihad-mridanga, as you are saying, Mridanga Pranam mantra. That's so sweet and loud that it can pierce into the
Yes.
hearts of the
So, but you have to understand that the goal of book distribution is to bring people to the Sankirtan. That's why it is important.
Yes, very.
So even book distribution's goal is Sankirtan.
That's called something.
And it's called Sankirtan because it is Kirtan. We glorify Krishna, we bring people to Krishna. Brihat Mirdanga. This is a Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Ṭhākura called book distribution or a printing press, Brihat Mirdanga. Yes. Yes? No? Very good. Alright, so do a little more kirtan.